including one Sheryl Swoopes, who we all know can't stand Caitlin Clark. It has made it blatantly obvious.
On these young women in college to go to the next level and be immediately dominant. And when that doesn't happen...
Caitlin Clark's making waves in the WNBA, but not everyone's happy about it. Sheryl Swoopes has been throwing shade, and now she's out of a job. Want to know how this rookie's changing the game and why some people can't stand it? You're in the right place. Before we move on, I'd like to ask you a small favor. If you appreciate this content, please take a second to like this video and subscribe to the channel. Over 98% of you watch the videos without subscribing. It costs you nothing, but it makes a huge difference to us. So, did you click the subscribe button? Great. Thank you so much. Now back to the video. What makes Caitlin Clark so unique, one may wonder. Prepare yourself, for these figures will astound you. Not only is this rookie creating waves in the WNBA, but she's causing a tsunami. Let's examine the reasons why Clark's debut season is exceptional. Let's talk about assists first. Not only did Clark break the rookie assist record, but she completely destroyed it, and she completed everything in just 28 games. Get this. Yes, she rewrote a record that stood for 26 years in less than half a season. However, Clark didn't stop there. She made history by becoming the youngest player to record back-to-back double-doubles in points and assists. Let's talk about introducing yourself. But there's still more. With the Indiana Fever, Clark has 7 distinct records under her credit. 7. Throughout her first season, we are dealing with a difficult-to-understand degree of dominance. Like she said, records as soon as she came onto the court. Yes, please accept them all. Sure, she's good, but does it really matter? Is probably what you're thinking right now. It means a great deal, I assure you. Not only is Clark altering the game on the court, but she's also doing so off it. Arenas are jam-packed and TV numbers are skyrocketing. Her game attracted 1.29 million spectators. That's good television in general, not just for the WNBA. But this is when the intriguing part starts. There is more to Clark's ascent than just stats on a page. It has to do with her enthusiasm for the game. Something electric happens the moment she sets foot on the court. Fans are aware of it. It's felt by other players. It's similar to witnessing a live basketball revolution. Consider her matchup with the Mercury. Clark had a great start, scoring 16 points in only the first half. It was a statement rather than merely a well-executed performance.
As a baller to a baller, I just want to say thank you to you, Caitlin Clark.
Absolutely.
For just lifting our game up.
All the league was hearing from her was, "I'm here and I'm not going anywhere." You would think that everyone would be ecstatic about this new celebrity, wouldn't you? A player boosting the league as a whole, setting records, and drawing in new fans? It ought to be obvious. The problem is that not everyone is applauding. The top names in the game are giving Clark the cold shoulder. They seem unable to accept that this newcomer is taking center stage. And that's when things get complicated. Because it's inevitable to upset some people when you challenge the current quo in the way Clark is doing. Thus, here we are, witnessing a rookie shatter records, fill arenas, and ignite a WNBA fervor unseen in years. However, we're also witnessing the initial signs of what may be a significant upheaval in the league's leadership. As you were beginning to doubt Clark's ability to create more waves, she gets into a fight with basketball royalty. What happens when a living great and a budding star meet? The consequence is going to permanently alter the WNBA. Let me introduce you to Sheryl Swoopes, a 3-time WNBA MVP and one of the best players ever. You would think she would be supporting the next generation? False. Since her undergraduate years, Swoopes has been pursuing Clark, and it's not cute. Let's take a little look back. Swoopes was already making fun of Clark while he was still winning the NCAA. "No, it's not going to be that easy," she stated categorically, raising doubts about Clark's ability to succeed in the professional ranks. However, that was only the start. Swoopes was unimpressed with Clark's pursuit of Kelsey Plum's NCAA scoring record. She referred to it as volume shooting and questioned the accomplishment's validity. Swoopes said, "If you're going to break a record to me, if it's legitimate, you have to break that record in the same amount of time that that player set it." Hurt. This is the point at when everything truly became uncontrollable. D. Shields fouled Clark in a contentious way during a game. Swoopes tweeted this gem on Twitter instead of criticizing the aggressive play.
And I'm sorry, but the more and more that I see this video, I mean, there's nothing about this that's not intentional. I don't give a damn. Including one Sheryl Swoopes, who we all know can't stand Caitlin Clark. It has made it blatantly obvious.
Head up, kid. Hate will not win you. Speak about stoking the flames even further. The retaliation was harsh and quick. Swoopes' post was interpreted as supporting violent play against the league's newest star by both fans and commentators.
Surrounding the foul heard around the world, the latest foul heard around the world from a WNBA player on to Caitlin Clark. Vicious assault. Boom, right there. Right there. And then she tried to act like, well, I'm going to help you up.
The final straw for the Indiana Fever was that. Swoopes was not only asked to apologize, but she was also let go from her role as an analyst on their broadcast team. I know you're thinking, what's upsetting everyone so much? Some are claiming that it's just envy. When calling out Swoopes, Stephen A. Smith didn't hold back, stating that her jealousy is obvious as day. He went so far as to say that Swoopes' attacks on Clark might be harming her legacy.
So I don't have any hard feelings towards Caitlin. My thing is, when you put these expectations.
Caitlin Clark is changing the game. She has thanked her for bringing light to the sport of women's basketball.
However, things worsen. Swoopes has been disseminating false information in addition to being critical. She stated that Clark is 25 years old when in reality she is 22 and that she attempts 40 shots a game while in reality she only takes about 19. She doesn't even seem to be making an effort to disguise her prejudice. With Swoopes going all out and others jumping to Clark's defense, the entire situation has devolved into an absurd game of he said, she said. These days, the issues are more than just basketball.
On these young women in college to go to the next level and be immediately dominant. And when that doesn't happen.
Chicago Sky foul. Some would call it an assault onto a WNBA player, and I'm talking about Diamond DeShield.
Oh, she was a bust. She was a flop. She wasn't that good. Like, just let them do what they're doing and let them become stars in the WNBA.
They are about legacy, respect, and the sport's future. An unexpected ally stepped out of the shadows as the basketball world held its breath, waiting to see who would speak up next. The man who has built a career out of savage remarks, Stephen A. Smith, was ready to deliver his most outrageous one yet. However, none anticipated what happened this time. It's not like Stephen A. Smith is renowned for his restraint. You can be certain that there will be fireworks when he enters a debate. But in this situation with Caitlin Clark, he completely changed the course of the conversation rather than merely joining it. Set the setting, please. The WNBA great Sheryl Swoopes is criticizing the newcomer to the scene. Things are becoming unattractive. There is disagreement among fans. Chaos reigns throughout the league. Then, without warning, Stephen A. approaches the microphone. What does he say too? It's revolutionary. Smith put everything on the line, not just defending Clark. He confronted Swoopes, claiming that her remarks were blatantly envious. He didn't stop there, though. Clark's status as a basketball phenomenon was portrayed by Stephen A., who stated, "Caitlin has literally redefined the game. Every time she steps onto the hardwood, it's like you can almost guarantee she's about to break another record." This was not your typical hot take. It was an outspoken endorsement from one of the greatest names in sports media. And it changed the story as a whole. All of a sudden, Swoopes' criticisms were off the table. We had resumed our celebration of Clark's extraordinary accomplishments. Not that Stephen A. was finished. He criticized Swoopes' arguments for being superficial and out of touch, striking at their core. He made the argument that Clark's performances, which broke records, speak for themselves. He seemed to be warning, "You better not miss if you're going to come for the queen." The effect was felt right away. Sports broadcasts, fan forums, and social media all reinforced Stephen A.'s remarks. he had accomplished what appeared unachievable, bringing some rationality to a contentious argument. He achieved this by concentrating on the game itself, which is what mattered most. Stephen A. ended his analysis with a mic drop. He continued, "If you're going to tear someone down, at least acknowledge their accomplishments too." It was a challenge to everyone watching the WNBA, not just a defense of Clark. An appeal to recognize excellence when it is witnessed, irrespective of our age or background. These were no longer limited to a single player or dispute. The conversation had been amplified by Stephen A. He had changed the topic to one of respect, talent recognition, and the prospects for women's hoops basketball. And with that, the entire discussion shifted. We were discussing more than simply Clark v. Swoopes now. We discussed what it means to be a legend, accepting change in the sport, and old guard versus young blood. Stephen A.'s intervention served as more than simply a defense for Clark. It also emphasized the significance of Clark to the WNBA. He demonstrated how one participant might elicit this degree of fervor and discourse. It demonstrated that Clark is altering not just games, but the whole women's basketball landscape.